Chris Walton, Peter Ward, Jeff Spencer, John Penny, Brett Rudd and James Urquhart make up the first grid, 6 grid position. Sam Barry out of 7, Mike Lightfoot from 8, Peter Rubb from 9, Jeff Kernahan from 10, and completing the lineup, Glenn Collinson alongside Dirty Dave Kernahan. Chris Walton was the victor in race number 2, and he will be starting towards the front of the grid. Geez, Richard, that might just about be pole, I reckon.
Well, yes, pole position for race 3 is denoted by the points accumulated in race 1 and 2, and Killer has more than anyone else.
Well, there you go. So that's a simple explanation as to why Chris Walton is off the pole. Peter Ward from 2, he's had a solid weekend so far. Jeff Spencer will start out of grid position 3 as they form up here on the grid. A little bit of cloud cover just coming in over the track, and there is the threat of rain looming to the northeast of Pukekohe Park Raceway. So that could throw an entirely different mix on this race, the 3rd and final race, where thankfully so far we haven't seen too much carnage other than the incident for Mike Lightfoot down into turn number 1 at the start of race 2.
Well, they've patched that ute up. It's ready to go. It's a little bit the worse for wear, but it's fully serviceable, and we expect Mike to be a feature of this race.
And he did say that he got a tap down there and was obviously finished off by Dave Kernahan, who really had nowhere to go, in fairness to the Kernahan Contractors Ford driver. So there is our front row. Ford versus Holden. Australia versus New Zealand. We get the green. Walton, as usual, predictably gets a fly award, though went with him as he starts pulling gears.
And watch Jeff there in 3rd.
Spencer down the inside of Chaos. Little bit of a touch as Chaos just sort of bumped off to the left. Another one off in the background. That was the KCL Ford of Jeff Kernahan, car number 21. Huggy into the concrete out of the S's onto the back straight. That's broken the left front suspension. How much bad luck can one person have? There's Kernahan. Turn left at turn 1. That is not in the manual. Might have been some contact there with whoever was alongside. And, Lightfoot and Huggy onto the back straight. Just run out of room. How much bad luck can one driver have in motorsport? Poor Huggy.
He won't be best pleased, eh? There's quite a bit of damage to that ute, same side that went into the wall at Highlands.
Yeah, left front, it's broken the upright, left front suspension. So here's a replay of the start. Chris Walton got the initial jump. I thought Chaos might have got by him here. The Ford now just started to nudge ahead. Now, watching the background as they go through, you'll see Jeff Kernahan disappear stage left, right. Now, and that was a high speed off too.
Yeah, again, like the earlier race, difficult to see what's actually happened, whether there's been any contact there or whether he did that all by himself. The car safely beached. That's another difficult one to call. It looks like they were both side by side, and 2 into 1 wasn't going to go.
Well, if you're going to make the pass there through into Gold Corner onto the back straight, it's got to be early and it's got to be clean, because that is the downside of it, what we've just seen there between Lightfoot and James Huggy Urquhart. Time to go back racing the finale at Pukekohe round 2 for the UDC V8 Utes under cloudy, darkening skies. Australian Chris Walton will lead them down through to the restart to complete 3 laps. On board with Mike Lightfoot there, Peter Robb just in behind. So it's Walton, Ward, Spencer, John Penny, Brett Rudd in the red Holden Commodore on board with Lightfoot as they get the restart down underneath the GT Radial Bridge. To start lap number 4 again. Walton gets a good restart, but Chaos this time went with him.
Yeah, I was watching Mike Lightfoot there. I think he's maybe carrying some damage from that earlier collision with Huggy. He was easy prey for Sam Barry there.
Yeah, you'd think there was probably some damage left side, because he was still basically contacted with the Urquhart car as it bounced off the concrete. So if it wasn't happy going into this race after the damage from race 2, I think it's going to be even less than happy as Chaos pulls up alongside trying to get by the Australian. It's not quite far enough in there. See if he can apply the pressure here to the Aussie Chris Walton.
Well, Wardy's up for a race win here. He's certainly pumped before the start.
We've only had 2 race winners in the championship so far. This is round number 2. Chris Walton with a clean sweep at Highlands Park. Jeff Spencer won the first race of the weekend here for the UDC V8 Utes at Pukekohe. Walton won the second, and he's leading the third here. Jeff Spencer in the Jackson Enterprises Commodore. Torturing these Yokohama tyres up over the top of the hill.
Oh, off the grass there, that's Brett the Scud Rudd, but he held on to it. That was a hairy moment for him.
A hairy moment? I would rate that as a pucker moment, Richard, a pucker moment. It is uncomfortable. It is just such a tricky part of the circuit, and that's what Pukekohe Park is all about. It is not supposed to be easy. I'm on board with Lightfoot, trying to get a run on Rudd.
Yeah, maybe we're wrong about Lightfoot earlier. He is in the race. He just looked at this start that he was falling off immediately, but he's on the pace with these guys, so maybe it did take a bash and he's just getting his head around the slightly different handling characteristics of it.
Might be right in a straight line. It's the cornering that might be a little bit of a problem, although he actually makes a gain there under brakes on Rudd. The pallet supplies, number 99 Commodore.
I do like watching Sam Barry in these Utes, Jamie. Yeah, a veteran of the Suzukis, he tells me he revels in the power of these things, not afraid to use the throttle. He's all action. And there you go, past JP.
He does that pretty easily as well. JP's going to try and come back under brakes. The rear of the Ute twitching. He's got it locked up and into the side of Barry, and around goes the Bell Group 71 and collects JP on the way past and turns him around.
Yeah, that looked like JP was a little bit optimistic on Sam in the early part of the corner, tagged him and knocked him around, and it all went wrong after that.
There was a lot of smoke coming out from underneath the rear tray of the Bell Group Ford. Now, you could hear Penny was locked up going in. He tried to get it stopped, tagged into it. Look at that impact there as Barry was going backwards across the track. John Penny wouldn't have known a lot about the exit side of it. He thought, yep, I'm past, I'm not.
Almost a bit of V8 Ute karma there, Jamie.
Well, that's how to level the incident. Get him back in reverse. Not that I think it was intended. Oh, Brett Rudd and Lightfoot only just squeezed through it as it was. Lightfoot had to take to the grass in avoidance. Now, we just heard from Race Radio, that black flag, that board has a number 96 on it for Mike Lightfoot. You were just talking about doing well, getting into the points.
So it looks like they're throwing the blame of that earlier incident in his way. There he is.
You can imagine the thought patterns if he's on the radio to the team. Might be a few beeps and expletives going on there. So as they head back down towards turn 1 and 2, that's, look at the rain down here. Now, we've talked about it, the fact that Pukekohe is legendary for having half of the track dry, half of the track wet, and we're seeing that right here, right now.
Yeah, and as a driver, you know, you got to switch on to the wet driving and then switch on to a completely different mode of driving for the dry.
Ward's made some little gains here because Walton is effectively, well, he's really the first car to go through all of this stuff.
Yeah. Look
at that rain in the background. It's almost non-existent here halfway down the back straight. That is bizarre, absolutely bizarre.
And these guys will have to measure how wet the tyres are going into this particular turn we're looking at, and can they take it at a dry weather speed or do they take it at a wet weather speed?
Well, I think the last half a lap's going to be at least pretty much dry for Chris Walton. Wow, I haven't seen that for a long, long time. And that's part of Pukekohe, part of the history of Pukekohe. There's not too many motor racing circuits around New Zealand that can offer that. Half the track dry, half the track wet.
Yeah, Chris has driven a great race there. He's had a great weekend. Not really put a foot wrong again. The Ute's clean. Great drive.
Well, he's been the pioneer in this one with the rain at the northern end of the circuit. Down to the checkered flag. Australian Chris Walton will take 2 wins from 3 starts. That's 5 from 6. The opening 2 rounds of the championship. The Chris Walton fans are happy. Look at the deluge down through turn 1 and through the S's. That is an incredible amount of rain in such a short time. Unbelievable. And Kernahan comes out and the tap turns off. Wardy's having a yeehaw session behind Chris Walton. When was the last time you saw that, Richard?
I've not seen it as on and off. You can literally see where the rain stops and where it's dry again, and it's sat like that for a couple of laps.
There's a shower curtain up. That is unbelievable. Chris Walton takes out the final race win here at Pukekohe for the UDC V8 Utes. What a bizarre end to the race. 2.1 seconds clear of Peter Ward in the end, ahead of Jeff Spencer, Brett Rudd. Mike Lightfoot crosses the line in 5th. That had been assessed with a drive-through. That may change post-race. Peter Robb 6th, ahead of Glenn Collinson, Dave Kernahan, John Penny, and a struggling Sam Barry.